Welcome back to the YouTube channel. If you're new here, I'm Joanna Kleinman, psychotherapist, transformational leadership coach, founder of the Mastering Your Mind coaching and consulting company, and creator of the Mind Method. And today's video is one that I really want you to take your time with because we are right at the beginning of 2026. So before you set your intentions or your goals or your visions for the year ahead, I want you to slow down because if this year is going to be the year, if this is going to be truly different for you, there's something that you need to understand first. So I do believe that this year, 2026, has the potential to change everything. Now, you might even feel that something big is close, like you're on the edge of a totally different chapter, right? You've kept going. You didn't give up. You've stayed in it even through the frustration and the pain and the moments where you didn't see the evidence that things were changing, right? So, if this is going to be the year that truly shifts your life, it's not going to come from working harder or from forcing yourself to stay positive or trying to become a better version of yourself. It's really going to come when your body finally feels safe enough to let something new in. And that requires one thing, and that is learning how to master your mind. Now, when I say master your mind, I do not mean changing your thoughts or beliefs, okay? Because you have very conditioned thoughts and beliefs that are not going to change. Every single person that I work with, every person inside the Mastering Your Mind community experiences change in their life after one thing shifts, and that is their identity. So I want to talk about what identity really is. So when I say identity, I mean the automatic set of thoughts, beliefs, emotional patterns, and behaviors that your nervous system organized around early in your life to feel safe, to feel connected, to feel protected, to feel like you're in control. And that current identity is not who you really are. It's actually who your body learned to be in response to some pain, some fear, some loss, some instability, right? Every human experiences a moment, the first moment in our young life where we feel that there's something wrong. And that's the start of this identity that I'm talking about. So your current identity is really a nervous system state. It's not a personality trait. And it operates underneath your conscious awareness. And this is really important because that automatic identity shapes everything. It shapes what you perceive. It determines what feels familiar, and it quietly below the surface drives your choices, even long after that first initial threat is gone. So you've got this other part of yourself, and that is your authentic self. That's the part that was never formed by this automatic identity. That's the part of you that has existed since before that conditioning took hold. So transformation does not come from fixing that identity because you can't. It's been conditioned in you since you were very small. So transformation actually comes from seeing that inner critic identity so clearly that you stop mistaking it for who you actually are. And unless you are able to unhook yourself from that automatic identity and return yourself to your authentic self, you'll keep recreating the same patterns. Okay. It'll just look different. It'll be new goals, new promises, new beginnings, but it'll still just be the same patterns that you're recreating from your past over and over and over again. And that's kind of like taking your past and smearing it all over your future. So, I want to talk to you today about 5 truths about your identity that will change how you live in 2026. So, this is not about becoming someone new. This is about remembering who you were before your nervous system learned I need to survive emotionally. All right, so let's dive into truth number 1. Your identity, your current automatic identity, is a survival strategy. It's not your true self. So in your life now, your nervous system doesn't care about what's aligned for you, doesn't care about what's true for you. It doesn't care about what's meant for you. Your nervous system is only governed by one question: what will keep me safe? And so, whatever answer it lands on, right? It landed on it very early in your life. And that has become who you are: the overthinker, the overachiever, the overgiver, the fixer, the smart one, the one who feels not good enough, the one who has to overwork and feels like resting is laziness, the one who braces for the other shoe to drop even when life is going well, the one that is constantly in worry and anticipation. So that's not your personality, that's your inner critic identity. That's a survival-based adaptation that your body formed before your brain was even fully developed. So what changes everything is when you can so clearly see the automatic thoughts and emotions and behaviors of that inner critic identity, that you can spot it the moment that it's hijacked you. So that identity is not something that you're going to replace simply by deciding to be different. It's something that you have to ongoingly disentangle yourself from, unhook yourself from its grip. So real transformation happens slowly in these micro moments when you train your nervous system to no longer believe the inner critic's version of your reality. Because right now, that inner critic version of you believes that that's what's necessary for survival. So it will keep worrying, it will keep overthinking, it will keep overanalyzing, it will keep being the perfectionist, whatever it is that it's been doing all this time, it's committed to continue to do it. So loosening that grip that that identity has over you is about rewiring your nervous system to trust that the unknown is safe. That lack of clarity is not a problem. That chaos does not need to continue moving forward. So when you start to untangle yourself from that identity, your authentic self finally has a chance to show up, not by forcing it, but to naturally start taking the lead in your life. Let's talk about truth number 2. Your current thought and emotional patterns are identity reflexes. Okay. You know how you go to the doctor and the doctor bangs on your knee and your leg goes up? Yeah. Your inner critic just does its thing. It's an echo, it's a reflex. And this is where most people get stuck because your inner critic is not going to quietly step aside once you start to see it. It is not going to go out without a fight. In fact, the more that you step into your greatest visions, and really start to align with the life that you know you're meant to be living, your inner critic is going to get louder. Because that inner critic, again, it's not a habit, it's an identity that's been with you for your whole life. And that identity is going to fight tooth and nail for its existence. Okay. So even if you stop feeding it externally, it's going to continue to echo internally. You're still going to have those thoughts, those that are going to pull you back into fear. You're going to have those emotions that are associated with that fear or that anger or that distrust. You're going to continue to have those urges to numb those uncomfortable feelings or dump them or discharge them or overfunction on top of them. And that feels like the real you. You hear the thought, you feel the emotion, you follow the urge, you follow the behavior that comes from the thought and comes from the emotion. And without realizing it, you merge with that identity. Now, this is how your inner critic self stays alive. Not because it's true and real, but because you're still mistaking it for who you are. Now, this is why the work of the mind method has nothing to do with getting rid of the inner critic. It's about recognizing the echo in all of its forms, in the thoughts, in the beliefs, in the never ending patterns, in the nervous system reactivity, seeing the thought without attaching to it, feeling the emotion without becoming it, noticing the urge to engage in the behavior without obeying that urge. Each time you don't identify and merge with that inner critic identity, you train your nervous system into something new. What you're saying to your nervous system is, we can feel this discomfort and we can still be safe. And that is how you can start taking different actions that are aligned with that authentic self, even while your inner critic is screaming at you, even while you have the fear, even while you're in the unknown. That's how the identity loosens, not through force, not through suppression, but by no longer confusing familiarity with reality. Truth number 3, and this is a really cool one, okay? A lot of people talk about synchronicity, okay? So when you start to awaken, people say, oh, well, that's when the universe starts sending you more signs and more synchronicities. That is not what's happening. What's happening is neurological. So there is a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. It's called the RAS for short. Its job is to decide what you notice and what you ignore. It's kind of like when you buy a new car and you drive it off the lot and then all of a sudden you see your car all over the road. That's your RAS. So when you are living from your inner critic self and the fear and the shame and the perfectionism and all of the stuff that you've been dragging around with you for your whole life, your brain is scanning for only one thing. What could potentially hurt me? What do I have to control? Your brain is not looking for what's not aligned. Your brain isn't looking for what's not meant for you. It's not looking for what's expansive, what's going to open you up to the next level of you. So it's only looking for what matches the identity you've built to survive. So if that inner critic identity believes I'm not good enough, it'll find evidence for it. If it believes the life that you know you're meant to live is really probably not going to happen, it's going to find evidence for it. If you have an automatic belief that chaos is normal, you're going to keep creating chaos. If you have a belief that you have to worry about things in order to ensure that life goes in the direction that you want, it's going to find evidence for that. Your brain is going to filter out opportunities. It's going to filter out love. It's going to filter out moments of clarity. It's going to filter out those messages of synchronicity. not because they aren't there, but because they don't match who your nervous system believes that you are. So when your nervous system starts to move out of that inner critic identity, your perception expands. It's not that synchronicities increase, it's that your brain stops blocking them. Truth number 4, awakening to your authentic self is an identity death. So when an old identity is dying, there's grief, right? It's not this beautiful, magical thing. It can be painful. So it can feel disorienting, right? When that old identity starts to collapse, the nervous system is going to panic. And I hear all the time from people in the Mastering Your Mind community, you know what? I don't even know who I am without my inner critic identity. That's good news. That's not failure. That's the in between. That's the unknown. That's the stillness. That's the place where you stop continuing to engage in the automatic. That's where you stop bypassing your feelings. That's where you feel what you've been avoiding and you train your nervous system to stay in safety with those feelings. This is where truth lands. This is where clarity lands. This is where your nervous system relearns safety comes from me. It doesn't come from controlling the external world. It doesn't come from approval. It doesn't come from my performance. So the parts that you've been judging or the parts of you that you've been avoiding have never been the problem. Those are the parts that have been trying to protect you. And when you actually allow yourself to sit with that, they soften. They stop having so much of a grip on you. Finally, truth number 5, your inner critic identity actually creates emotional addictions. So the identity that was formed by your inner critic does not just shape how you think. It actually organizes what you become emotionally addicted to because your nervous system seeks out what's familiar, not what's healthy. So you may say, I want peace. I want freedom. But your body is used to reaching for urgency and control. So even though you say and you believe, I want ease, your body keeps recreating chaos. And by your body, I mean your mind also, right? Because your mind creates your nervous system reactivity, and your nervous system reactivity also creates your thoughts. It's like a vicious cycle. So your stress becomes chemical. The chemicals create more thoughts. The thoughts create more emotions. The emotions create the same behaviors, and life becomes an ongoing loop. And this is right in your blind spots. Now, blind spots are simply automatic patterns that are operating without you fully being aware of them, or really without you being aware of them at all. That's why they're blind spots. And these blind spots keep producing the same results over and over and over again. They keep producing the same life, even though the external circumstances change. That's why, even though you've had a lot of wins in your life, you still feel not good enough. The mind method doesn't fix the inner critic identity. The mind method reveals it so clearly that you can stop mistaking that inner critic self for who you really are. And when you no longer mistake that identity for who you really are, something entirely different has the opportunity to emerge. That's your authentic self. Again, not because you became someone new, but because you remembered who you were before your inner critic self took over. So if this video stirred something in you, that is not a coincidence. That is clarity. And this may be a signal that you're ready to stop living from that inner critic identity that's built from fear and start living from who you actually are. Now, that's exactly why I created the Mastering Your Mind community in 2026. We are doing things a whole new way. We've redesigned it. It's now a 3-month immersive journey, and it is built for real identity level change. As part of the community, you receive 3 one-on-one sessions with me. You get a powerful and intimate community. You get an entire program and an entire workbook with videos and training on the mind method to integrate it into your life. And you get everything you need to shift how you relate to your thoughts, your emotions, your nervous system, and your sense of self. Now, I'm also very intentional about who enters this community. It's not because it's exclusive, but it is because the container matters. So we'll need to connect first to see if this is the right fit for you. And if it is, I don't say this lightly, this work will change your entire life. This is far beyond motivation or trying harder or strategy. And it's not about doing this alone anymore. So if 2026 feels like the year that's meant to change everything for you, not just externally, but internally, this is how you begin. You can find the link to my calendar in the description below or visit masteringyourmind.com. I would love to explore this with you. Thanks for tuning in today.